lot to do with the society. So let me start from my own experience. I was living in Delhi for some time, and when metro came up, I was so eager, like any others, to travel in the metro. So initially my friends warned me, so give some 2 months break, so later on you can travel in the metro, because now initially it will be so crowded. So finally the day has come, so I decided to take a metro ride. And at that point of time also, one of my friends, she advised me, see, better get into the ladies compartment, which will be in the first of the two, which will be the front or in the back. So don't get into the middle booty. So you'll be only safe if you get into the either end. So I got the ticket. So when I was climbing down, I saw the metro train coming over the track and standing. So it will just be standing only for a few seconds. So I thought that, okay, whichever the compartment is open, let me get into it. So as soon as I got into that, I got a strange look from the men who are sitting over there. I didn't get a space, I was just standing. Then I was looking around whether I'll be getting a space or not. So I found in one corner, that is 2 seats reserved for women, and opposite to that, 2 seats reserved for differently abled people. In those 2 seats which were reserved for women, 2 men were sitting. So I started aligned to them, and then I asked, could you please stand up so that I can sit here? His reply was so furious. He said, so why did you get into this compartment? There were 2 compartments specifically reserved for women. Why you didn't get into that? So this is like, it's for us. Then at that time I didn't get the point. I asked him whether this is reserved for men. Again he replied, no, there are 2 other compartments which are exclusively for women. You should get into that if you need your own space. So this is how the Indian society is. So let me start from society, let me go to the state, and finally to the market. On the other hand, the same experience with the reservation. So we all know 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act has given the scope for reservation of seats for women. So in Tamil Nadu, they made every term the seats will rotate. If it is reserved for women, and next time the reservation will be for general. But then people understood in a different manner. If this time this is reserved for women, and next time, even though if it is general, it is considered that it is reserved for men. This is how we understand the state's initiative taken to give space for women, and how the society reflects upon it. And to move on further, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has said, if you want to know whether a nation is developed, you need to analyze the status of women living in that country. But as a gender analyst, with a gender perspective, I didn't see any of his plans reflect upon on how to improve the status of women. Only in 6th plan there is a mention. When they mentioned about education, so here like Professor Tamaya has mentioned about GER and the role of education. So only in 6th plan we get to know about the role of women. The importance should be given for women's education. So only after 1975 India started realizing, yes, all its citizens are not treated equally. Even though the opportunities are given, they are not utilized properly. So we need to do something specifically upon this. But again, as a gender specialist, I say it is not one fine morning India got sensitized towards gender, but it is only the initiatives taken at the supranational level. the supranational actors like United Nations and its organizations, World Bank and IMF. They came out with Women's Conference, first time in 1975, to understand the problem of women exclusively. So they constituted a committee to study the status of women all over the world, and India also, ICSR came out with a report on the status of women, where they framed different indicators they try to find the portion of democratic dividend. I mean, someone has mentioned about the democratic dividend already here. So the share held by women in different sectors like in education, in health, at workplace, and different kinds of employment, the share of women is analyzed, and obviously when we come to know the result, women's share is very minuscule. Another important thing I want to quote here is when we ask like, what's your father doing or mother doing, we often tend to say that, yes, my mother is a housewife, or no, she's not working. My father works somewhere. But when we analyze the work activity carried by women and men since morning, UNDP data says that women spend 75% of their day by doing some sort of work. Of this 75% of activity, their marketable activity is only 25%. The marketable activity here I mean is that the work which are paid. So remaining 50% are not paid, whereas for men it is reverse. 50% of their activity are paid and 25% of activity are non-marketable activity. So when these are taken into account of our GDP, these invisible women's work, I hope there will be a slight increase, and several women conferences, they have come out with suggestion for including women's unpaid non-marketable activity to accounting, but still they didn't arrive at any consensus. The problem here is like again how to calculate women's activity. Then talking about the market. Market in the globalized scenario, yes, of course, it provides lots of opportunity for women in different aspects. Like now, when you look into women's marketable activity, there is a slight increase over a period of time. But whether this is a welcome factor, I'll say no, because in globalized market, feminization of labor is happening more. When you look into special SPZ, special processing zone, or export processing zone, lots of women are employed, but they are underemployed. They are not paid properly. Labor laws are not implemented in an adequate manner, and in most of the organizations, they are not recognized at all. So the concept of feminization of labor after 1991 is increasing more. And part with the feminization of labor, there is another concept called feminization of poverty. Because women are underpaid, the poverty level is increasing. So apart from this feminization of poverty, another notorious thing is happening, you all must be knowing, like feminization of violence. And within this last 1 year, we might have come across several incidents in the newspaper. And the positive thing about this is, often the critics of feminism, they say that feminism is something alien to India. It's a Western concept, and we as an Indians cannot recognize that. But nowadays, media is reporting that feminism version 2.0 is emerging in India because of all these reporting, and women are coming forward, reporting against their harassment. On the other hand, judgment is also happening in a speedy manner. So when 20 years back, when we look into the same judiciary process, there are some judgments which have said that upper caste men will never rape lower caste women. This is the judgment given by some judges. And now the situation has reversed. Yeah, I should not want to name the recent Delhi rape case. They have done everything in fast-track manner, and within 1 year, justice has been pronounced. So yes, there is something positive happening in state, society, and market, but still, feminists and gender analysts are very skeptical about the pays in which these things are happening, and it has to be accelerated further for this gender sensitization and being sensitive to others' needs and making use of the opportunities very much required. Thank you.